Hey everyone, this is a compilation of the first 5 housing showcases all in one place. I've leveled the audio and turned down the music a bit, so everything should sound nice and even for those of you who, like me, need to have something playing in the background to fall asleep. Oh, and shout out to channel members BluestCheese and Tracy Hinote, and new channel member Stoyan W. I hope you enjoy. We're going to start this off with some silly ones before we get to the really good ones. And I want to start with this one here. And you're going to see why in a short while. We've got the Paladin book, we've got the Monk book here, and then a row of a bunch of outhouses, all in a row, one of which has a lovely little fruit in it. And this house just gets even better. This is the wackiest house. This guy clearly just took all of the things out of his inventory and just put all of them down. As we come around past these really cool warp gates, which I like a lot. I don't know where you get these, but they're very cool. And then we look up. And we just see that this man has put floating gazebos and an uncountable number of the Paladin Order Hall books. This man has made so many paladins, and he has every single one of these books just sort of floating in the air up here. Absolutely incredible. We can see the Undermine fountain in the background there as well. Genuinely incredible work from this man. He's covered the top of the roof with a bunch of braziers, and then when we go inside, it gets even weirder. Entering this guy's very strange house, we get these curtains that I was surprised are actually physics-based, and they move around you, which is really cool. You can see the lovely, beautiful Delete Me cube, a classic collector's item. If you don't have one of these, you definitely need to look to find it. And this house is just things everywhere. We've got floating rugs all over the place. We've got loads of stools, and if we go past this secret bookshelf here all the way up, you'll see that not only does this man have 10 Paladin Librams, he's got every fireplace known to man stacked all in a circle around each other. And you know what? When you're just starting out with housing, this is exactly what you do. I think everyone's going to go into their house, just pull out all of their things, and just sort of move them around. Ooh. And this is how I figured out that there's a secret bookshelf door. I don't know how to get the secret bookshelf door, but from now on, I'm going to be checking every single bookshelf to see if there's a secret bookshelf door. Number 9 here is a special one. We can see here we've got this sort of a Russian nesting doll of gazebos. We've got gazebo in a gazebo in a gazebo in a gazebo all the way down. And if we go all the way up to the smallest, tiniest gazebo, we can see a bathhouse. A cute little miniature bathhouse with little baths, little coal furnace there to keep everything warm, all within the tiniest gazebo in a very, very large gazebo. Now, my house, on the other hand, it is an absolute disaster. All right, moving on to number 8 here, and now we get to the real houses. We're starting to get to the houses that I think are actually genuinely good, that do a great job of showing what is possible with these tools. And remember, it has been 1 day since this has been available. As we go to these houses, keep in mind people have had 1 day to put these together. And we can see that this is a beautiful little house, a lovely little cozy type feeling on the outside here. And the reason I included this one is they've made this lovely secret secluded garden on the side that has this door to get into it. They've put these vines on these dividers here, and we can see they've placed all of these barrels and these plants on the side of the wall. I really like it. I love this secluded garden feel. You're going to see that's a common theme in a couple of these. And if we go behind the door and close it, we even have a private little bench here to be able to enjoy the lovely private garden on the side of this house. Absolutely beautiful. Now, while we're here, I do want to mention that on the PTR, not all of the plot headstones are working. So that's why for some of these, I'll tell you the person and the plot, but for others, I can't, because the PTR just is a little buggy right now. In future weeks, we'll make sure to get every single player credited along with the plot that they are on so that you can see where the house is. So if you want to put yours on that plot as well, you can. Now at number 7 here, we've got a plot by Demeter on plot number 32 on the Alliance side. And we can see that We're starting to place some of the outside items here. This person is making use of the wide space that they have available. We've got the stones on the ground. We've got plants overlapping each other. We have some of the lovely water features that you get to start with. And if we head inside, we'll see that I think this is a great example of what people are going to put together on their first couple of days when you're just putting out all the furniture, you're just sort of figuring out how the tools work, where everything goes, trying to make something nice. And as we head inside, we can see we've just got this lovely living room. We've got a fireplace, some great lighting. You can see we've put out some of the windows, and they have some curtains over the windows. The chairs and the couch here are both usable, by the way. And it just gives this lovely home feeling. You can see that they've customized some of the walls to make them fit with the aesthetic that they like. They've changed out the floorboards to better fit as well. And this feels like the type of thing that you would definitely make within your first day or two just to see how it feels, just to see how cozy you can make a house. And of course, we've got to take a seat on the couch, sit our feet back, and just admire the coziness. And at number 6, we've got a house that takes all of those elements from the previous and takes it that one step further. We've got this beautiful stone path, and by the way, most of these stones do have to be placed individually, and that is true for all of the plants and the trees that you see. These are not part of the plot. These were placed here by the player to fit and feel nice within the area, and I think they did a really good job. And if we head inside, we can see that they've also taken that hominess to the inside. We've got this beautiful open living room that has a lot of stuff going for it. This map here on the table of the Legion areas, I had never seen before. I don't know where you get it from, but it looks incredible, and I love how they've put it on the table. Makes it look like you're planning out the next adventure. The fireplace here with the couch a little askew like someone's been living here. The bar in the back here, and you can just imagine that if the person has another day or two to work on this, that would be fleshed out with items everywhere, just like the bedroom that they have here. And here you can see this is where they put in a lot of work. This thing is fully furnished. We've got paintings on the walls. We've got these couch cushions on the floor and by the couch, like someone's been living here, like people have been sitting around telling stories. The way that we've got the furniture laid out makes it feel like someone actually thought about where all of these elements go. I mean, it looks like something that Blizzard would design themselves. It looks absolutely incredible. And of course, we've got to check if the secret bookshelf has something. Yes, it's a secret bookshelf, but no, there's not something behind it. At this point, it's probably worth mentioning that if you want to submit your house, if you want me to take a look at it and include it in a video, there is a form in the description. On the PTR right now, the neighborhood search function really just kind of doesn't work. So for now, if you can include a link to a YouTube video where you have given your own walkthrough of the house, I'll be sure to include it. So yeah, if you're interested in having your house featured, take a look at the form below and we'll make sure to include it. And at number 5, we've actually got a house where I was able to meet the person working on it as they were working on it. And I've included this one here because it shows off a lot of really unique housing elements that I had not seen at any of the other houses. This player had actually gone and visited some of the rep vendors on the PTR so that they could buy some of the items that we will be able to get once the patch comes around. You can see this gazebo is completely unique, as well as this cool magic little moonwell thing he's got going on here. He's got some of these other housing elements on the side, and he's combined some of them to give a nice little design to everything. Over here, we've got a bath, as well as some little cabinets and things to put stuff in. He's put some of this wood here as though he's growing vines. He's got this beautiful little fence into a bench with a cushion on it that makes the house look amazing. Dantar here is in the progress of building out his outdoor area, and he was kind enough to let me look at it as he was working on it. And some of those items, like that keg in the background there, or that lamp sitting on the table, those are items that I have not seen before. They're not ones that you start with, and they're not ones that you get from any of the vendors in the actual housing area. He has actually gone out and found every single one of these one by one. And that includes this lovely greenhouse that just popped in. This thing is incredible. I love this item. I haven't seen anyone else use this item. But items like these make me really excited for the future of housing here, because this is an incredible item. It's huge. It allows you to make your own full room in the outside, put things inside of it, and it's one that he found just out one of the rep vendors. When I asked him about it, he said he found it at Stormheim. I tried to go in, and he said no. He said the outside is not ready yet, and so we're just gonna leave it at that. And so, to even out the house that we can't go inside, here's a house that we can't go outside. This is the indoor area of a house where the outside just hasn't been worked on yet. We can see this lovely gong here that I hadn't seen anywhere else, and I love the way that he set up the fireplace. It feels so cozy. You, of course, got the stag on the mantle there. We've got the Onyxia head on the wall. And so much of how he's put these items here, how he's lit the area, it feels like Blizzard themselves came in and made this area. I really can't sing enough praises for all of these houses. They're fantastic. In this bedroom here, we've got a wash bin, and we've got the bath. We've got curtains in the house, the way he's put the rugs. He's got even more creatures' heads on the wall. I don't know where he's got all of these, but they're incredible. I love the way that he's able to use lighting with the windows and the candles and all of the different other areas to give each room its own little feel. And yes, of course, it is a secret bookshelf once again. And at number 3 here, we've got a house that I think really shows off how you can use the robust housing item to customize the building itself. We've seen a lot of stuff on the outside, a lot of stuff on the inside, but this person has taken the time to put items on the house so that it has its own unique feel. You can see we've got this well, this stone, this beautiful little pond with little flowers in it. But more than that, all of these little plants, every single one of these berries are ones that the player has placed on their own individually. The mantle of that little stag there looks amazing. The grass, the different flowers, the little trees as they grow up. Every single plant here is one that the player has personally placed, and they all look fantastic. You wouldn't be able to tell that that's not an option for your house. It looks like something that was made professionally. This lovely bench here that's just a little bit too big for where I sit next to the cushion, and this lovely fountain letting you see the incredible view. And something that I really got to give this house credit for is if we walk all the way over to this gazebo over here, we can see that this plot has a beautiful view of the area around it. You get to see this water going underneath the bridge. There's a bunch of ducks and otters and crabs and stuff down below. They've placed these beautiful items here to make it look lived in, like you've been sitting here reading a book with this amazing view. I gotta say, the housing area, Blizzard really outdid themselves with it. It looks incredible. All right, and at number 2, we are at the big leagues. Number 2 and 1 here are absolutely amazing. First, we gotta shout out this fountain here. Now, I have to mention that every single stone, every single candle, the lighting, the plants, all of these were placed individually by the player. You can actually see the little handle of the candle item. All of these candles are not little individual candles. It's actually a candle holder item, and the player has actually moved the candle into the item itself so that it looks like it's just a candle sitting there. It's incredible work, and I'm so excited to see what people come up with once they've had more than a single day to come up with these things. And we can see the same on the rest of the house, the way that they're placing the plants and the lights and all of the different features inside of each other to make it look like everything belongs. This beautiful little garden area on the side, the way that he has plants going up the side of the wall, up these little banisters that he has on the side here. Absolutely amazing work with a lot of these houses. This single flower on the side there with a candle makes it look like a vigil. The flowers he has on the sides of the stairs. In the back here, he's got this incredible gazebo, which has these cute little items here. I don't think the texture's quite working on that little item. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be, but it looks incredible anyway. And of course, this wouldn't be number 2 if it were just the outside, would it? Now, I included this inside because I think it shows off really well what you can do with the housing tools here. Not only are each of these rooms absolutely gigantic, but you can see some of the capabilities. You can see the openings here at the top of the walls, but they don't actually connect anywhere. Those are individual rooms that the person has placed. We've got this beautiful stag over the mantle, of course, but one thing I really like about this inside is this area over here. We can see he stacked 2 boxes as well as these bookshelves, one of which is upside down, and he's repurposed those Legion class books we showed earlier to make it look like someone was working on something here, that there's some studying going on. If we go down this beautiful hallway, we can see the windows providing light, all of those paintings that we've seen before, and as we come out through the hallway, we see this other giant room. And this is the real reason that this is included number 2, the glowing holy chair. This player has taken that Paladin Order Tome and put it through the floor so that this chair is glowing in all of its glory. It is an absolutely glorious little chair here, and I just had to include it. Look at that. That's incredible. And here we have a little honorable mention of this person here, Mr. WoW Crafter on plot number 25, who has decided to put all of their items out just sort of on the lawn. And I included this here because there's a lot of items here that are unique, that I hadn't seen in any of the other housing areas, that are just good to mention, cool to see. We've got this cool little awning, this warm stone. One thing I really like is this battle table here that has like some wind effect on it, and we can see all of these little pieces here as though they're planning out their attack or their adventure. And we've got some night elf themed items too. We've got this little moon well and this cool chest here. So just some cool little items that I hadn't seen included anywhere else, and that's why this is an honorable mention. And now we get to number 1, the number 1 house this week by none other than Newt themselves, and you're gonna quickly see why this is number 1. This is on plot number 2, and every single bit of this house, everything, is incredible. All of these plants that they've placed growing in and out the roof and the sides of the wall look amazing. Every single one individually placed by the player. And that's true for all of the plants that you'll see. They have this grass growing out the side. They have this tree that looks like it's coming out of the house itself to really add to this night elf aesthetic that they've got going on here. To the side of the door, you can see this beautiful carpet and this elegant little bench here with flowers individually placed in a beautiful circle all around it. And I cannot stress enough that every single element you see was placed one by one by the player. There isn't a awning that has flowers on it. There isn't a circle of flowers or a roof with flower options. This player has chosen to put all of them one by one. This beautiful side garden with this beautiful little frog, perfectly timed Mr. Frog. Hello there, sir. Thank you for coming into the shot. Oh, look at him go. He loves it. Oh, he's jumping around in the little water fountain. Beautiful frog bath. So this outside already looks incredible. One of the best houses I've ever seen. But when we get inside, this player is on another level. Newt here is... I am at a loss for words for how good Newt has done with the inside of their house. They've clearly gone for this night elf, elvish aesthetic, and they do it really well. We've got the couches here around this elvish fireplace, all of these carpets, these different items all placed along the walls. Everything here is meticulously placed. Everything here is individual. We've got this incredible wolf rug, which I hadn't seen anywhere else. I don't know where you get it, but it looks amazing right next to that glaive there on the wall. This lovely dinner table with these chairs that match the carpet. And of course, we've got this fully fleshed out bar with all of these seats. We've got food. There's a little keg in the back and some books. There's a place for the bartender to wash their hands. And there's a little iron stove to warm the place and to cook things. And if we go through this back little door here, we have nothing other than an actual full-fledged restroom in the little closet. We've got the wash bin and a little mirror on top there. We've got a lovely bathtub. This is a fully working house. It feels like you could have people over for dinner and they'd have a place to stay and wash their hands and use the bathroom. And of course, we get into the bedroom here and the quality just continues. All of these individually placed little flowers and knickknacks and cushions and furniture items. This place looks like it was designed by Blizzard. I've said that a couple of times here, but this one in particular looks exquisite. From top to bottom, every single part of this house looks absolutely incredible. This is by far one of the best houses I've ever seen, and as a reminder, they had one day. Newt did all of this in the one day that housing has been live and available on the PTR. Absolutely incredible work. Now, as is tradition, we're going to start off with a bit of a silly one here. This is Bethan on plot number 12, and as we go inside, you'll see why I included this on the list. But if we take a look to the right here, we will see this giant mill that the player has included here. The player said that their goal was to make this as big and obnoxious as possible to annoy their neighbor on the plot down there that you can see. And I would say that this player definitely achieved their goal. Now, every house on this list includes something unique, some cool feature that I had not seen on any of the Alliance houses that I looked at over the PTR. And when we go into the main room here, we can see that Bethan has actually created a bit of a jumping puzzle for us to get up top. Now, as we go and complete the puzzle and we get to the top here, we can see why this was included in the list. You see, Bethan spent their time figuring out the little quirks and glitches in the housing system. Here, Bethan shows us a weird little puzzle. You actually can't walk through this part of the area in any normal way, but if you stand in the corner and specifically jump to the right, you actually clip through the items perfectly to be allowed to get through, which is quite interesting actually. And I imagine that there are some ways that you could use something like this to make secret rooms or houses on the side. Now, as we move over here, we'll see this giant arrow that Bethan has created, and this arrow is the reason why we have this included. This arrow is pointing at a little chair that Bethan has clipped through the wall. And if we sit in this chair, we can see that we ourselves clip through the wall, and we are now out in the actual area that our homes are held. Whenever you create a home, you get a little instance just like this. It's this giant blue checkerboard floor with this black background going on forever. And we can actually walk around freely. We can see all of the buildings that Bethan has put together, and we can actually see all of the different items that are sticking out from the walls. And for those of you who are wondering, yes, I did run all the way to the end of this zone. By the way, it is massive. It took a long time to get there. And what's there? Well, it's just the void. Just a big, empty void forever. Next up, we've got a house from Crenthia on plot number 26. And I gotta say that this plot might be one of my favorite Horde plots. It is right on the beach, and as you can see, Crenthia here has taken full advantage of that. We see these beautiful flowers, this incredible gazebo that the person has put together. We see these chairs around the fountain. And as we head to the back of the house, you can see that Crenthia really thought about how the outside area might be used by themselves and their friends. We've got these chairs in the back here and these tables where you can imagine people sitting around and enjoying their time. To the side of the tables, we have this beautiful little stone path that goes over to this rocky fountain that really fits with the aesthetic of the whole area. Not only does it fit the plot, but you could probably convince someone that it was here already, that this is just a part of the area because it matches so well. Now, I did promise that every Horde house on this list would have something I hadn't seen anywhere on the Alliance houses, and of course, Crenthia is no exception. We're gonna start out small, but that doesn't mean it's any less significant. As we head inside, we can see that they have gone out of their way to make this feel very lived in, but more than that, to make it kind of feel like a tavern. To the side here, we have this circular thing, and by the way, there is no circle item. Crenthia had to individually place every corner and line them up, but I love how the pillows and the couch are lined up together to make a nice seating area. We have this cool divider hiding the bathtub, and as we move over to the left here, we can see what makes this house so special. Crenthia has taken the time to set up custom walls within the rooms to partition the rooms out. There is no room option that has this little outcropping here. Crenthia has built that themselves. And as we head upstairs, we can see this concept developed even further. This upstairs room has 3 separate other rooms inside of it, each one themed a different way. I love the way that Crenthia has used these walls and the decorations on them to make it seem as though this is how the room had always been intended. Each of these open bedrooms gives the feeling of a tavern or a boarding house, maybe a hostel, where people can stay when they need to over a period of time. We have this elvish wall partitioning a more elvish style bed, and as we go to the left, we see the final bedroom with this Horde-themed bed and chair. Now up next, we have our first submission from you guys. This is a submission by Leanne on plot number 12, and this shows off something that you can do with the Horde houses that you cannot do with the Alliance ones. You can see they've flown up tier to this little balcony that they've created with a fountain and those bookshelves, and that's something that is unique to the Horde homes. All of the Alliance homes, their features are pointed, they're roof type, but on the Horde homes, you can make these outcroppings that allow you to do something unique with them, as Leanne has done here. As Leanne walks to the side of their house, we can see that they've hidden a cute little flamingo in the bush here, and off to the back, we can see that they've created this awesome little area to sit and look at the view of this plot. This plot actually might be one of my favorites. It is secluded and on its own, but it's at the top of one of these spires. It makes it feel like this is your spire. This is your giant rock all to yourself. And as we head inside, we can see that Leanne has put a ton of work into making this house look incredible. Remember, every single item was placed one by one by the player. All of these wall furnishings, the table, the chairs, all of the carpets, everything on the sidewall here, these little metal wood accents were all placed individually. The way that Leanne uses the lighting and the different nature elements to make this place feel well thought out and lived in is incredible. But as we go to the back room here, we can see something super unique that makes Leanne's house stand out even more. It's this window here. Now, important for you to know is that there is no window item. All of the windows in the game are opaque. They're just blue or yellow and they emit light. What Leanne has done here is used a small closet room on the side and custom built the window, custom placed all of the elements behind it to give you the feeling that this is a real actual window that looks out to the side. It's absolutely stellar work, and when combined with how fantastic and well planned out all the rest of the house is, this really stands out as some exceptional work. Up next, we actually have another viewer submission. This is by Zolian on plot number 42. And we can see that this house is a break from the normal sand and rock that the Baron's feeling normally has. I've included this here not just because all of these different plants are fantastic. The way that Leanne has built out this little custom entrance, has taken advantage of the pathway into their house, is incredible. And on top of that, it shows that the Horde neighborhood also has these lovely, beautiful, nature-like plots if that's something that you enjoy. Zolian has taken the Horde hut and has made it feel very incorporated into this Ashenvale type zone. And on the inside, man, Zolian has really taken their time here. The use of the wooden beams to create what looks like a structural part that is actually not part of the room. That's something that they have custom made. All of the little elements, Zolian has made sure to place items where you feel like they should be. There are items on the shelves, there are items on the tables and by the chairs. The lighting here is absolutely fantastic. The way Zolian has this curtain over the window in the back, and you can see that every square foot has been utilized. Even down to those cushions sitting on the floor, or the little leaves hanging down from some of the walls. Everything here was planned out by Zolian to fit the theme, and it fits it really well. I particularly like this dark lamp over the bed, which I hadn't seen anywhere else before, and I'm a huge fan of the way that Zolian has made sure that all of their lighting fits well. This is something that not a lot of the housing plots had time to work with on the one day that people were building these houses, but you can see that Zolian actually has the option to turn off the specific lighting in the bedroom to make it feel more dark and cozy. And Zolian has made sure that all of their lighting fits this theme, that anything that gives out significant lighting is something that can be toggled off. Now up next, we've got something really cool. This is by Kentarik on plot number 16, and as we fly around the side here, we can see that they have made real good use of the extra options that the Horde huts give you. This back area is something that they have built custom, and the fact that we've got these trees growing out and the gazebo on the top, as well as this incredible bone dragon with the fire in it coming off, makes this house look fantastic at a distance. This house looks absolutely gigantic from the outside. I mean, you've got actual trees growing out of the back of it. The outside of this house here is one of the favorites that I had seen over the course of the PTR. I really like the effort that they put into making this feel gigantic, but at the same time incorporated into the scene. Now, as we head inside, you'll see that most of it is empty, and there's actually a very good reason for that. We can come in and see this fully furnished kitchen, and this is where Kintaric has put all of their item budget. Because as we go around the side, as we pass these chairs and tables, we can see some unique items that Zalian has custom made. This oven in particular is incredible. It's got a working door. It's got these little hot pots right on top of it, these individual fires. It looks like an oven. But of course, there is no oven item. Zalian made that themselves. And that's true when we get to this refrigerator here. Zalian has custom placed the walls and the roof to make a nice little working refrigerator. And I do want to take the time to actually look at these in more detail. We can see that the spout for the sink that Zalian has made is actually a cup moved upside down up into a wooden beam. The oven is actually an upside down fireplace with a couple little fire items on top and a door on its side to make the oven door. And this level of care even goes into the fridge, where Zalian has actually hidden a window behind all of these items to give it that blue glow, that light turning on when you open up the fridge. It's such an incredible detail that you wouldn't notice if you're not looking for it, but really adds to the feeling that this is an actual working fridge. And as we head up to the other furnished room in this house, the bedroom, we can see that the attention to detail has continued. We've got this incredible bed, the lighting, but in particular, as we go through here, we can see the bathroom. Zalian has used this little moonwell here to create the toilet, and as they will helpfully tell us, that Alliance flag is the toilet paper. Now at number 5 here, we've got Azcriel on plot number 7, and man, this one blew me away. On the outside here, we can see we've got this bed and the couch to enjoy your lovely beachfront property, and by the way, a lot of the Horde plots are beachfront property. It's really good. This feels like an area that you could just sit down and relax, spend your time, go AFK. I really like it. At the side here, we've got an oven and a little overturned wagon. It almost feels like the sand over time has gotten into it. And of course, as we look to the right, we can see that Azcriel has not cheaped out on the foliage. This fountain and the gazebo, all of the trees out here have been incorporated so well into this plot that you wouldn't be able to tell all of this was blank until Azcriel got here. Every single one of the trees that you see, all of the grass that you see, every plant is one that Azcriel themselves placed. And that includes the ones over the door, as well as these ones on the fountain. The extra plants that Azcriel has added really add to this feeling of this desert oasis, this little bit of water that allows life to grow. Now, as we head inside, I am so excited to show you what Azcriel has come up with here. I love the tea set and the flowers. I also love these little trinkets that they've included on the bar here. All of these are unique little items that the person has gotten from rep vendors or from achievements. All of them ones that I had not seen in a single other house. And that includes the poison cabinet and this cool little sink that they have here on the side. Now, as we move around this awesome centerpiece of all of the spices and fruits that you could imagine going in a kitchen, we can also see that Azcriel has placed these cute little unicorns on the bookshelf here. Those are not part of the bookshelf item. And now we get to the part I'm really excited about, the part that takes this house that little extra, adds that little extra oomph and pizzazz. Yes, we've got the painting and the demon hunter weapons, but we've also got a hidden bookshelf door. In our last one, we saw a lot of these, but not many had been used as an actual door, and yet here we are. This door opens up into this massive room where you can see that Azrael has used that outside awning item and sized it up gigantic to make it look like supporting pillars for the room, which is a really clever use of that item. In the back here, as we move through the curtains, we get to see this private bathhouse. And I'm sure if there was a higher item budget, more would be placed here, but what's already here is really nice. The bathtub right next to the fireplace with that helpful bench there makes this feel like a fantastic place to sit back and relax. It's incredible how just a couple items can help to enhance a room. But of course, as I'm sure you expected when we saw that other bookshelf, it does not stop there. There is another hidden pathway to the back here. There we can see the Paladin Tome sized up to 200% to create this really cool glowing feel that you get to observe as you go up the stairs. It goes all the way up. It's really cool. And of course, as we go through the curtains into the final area, we can see Azrael's bedroom, which involves this awesome blood elf bed that I hadn't seen before. I really like the red shades around it, while of course incorporating a couple of the Tauren items, and at the very end, a little wash bin. Up next, we've got Rude on plot number 12, and this house might honestly be my favorite out of all the houses that I've seen, and you'll see why when we get inside. But of course, the outside is also fantastic. The way that they've made custom fences by clipping items into the floor is really cool. I love the way that they've used the foliage and the different trees and stone paths to make this side garden area feel secluded, sequestered, private. It's a great way to transform that giant open plot into a cozy little side garden. Now, as we head inside here, we can see that the entryway is kind of empty, but as with before, there's a really good reason for that. This room is stunning. I absolutely love this room. I had never seen anyone turn the staircase room into its own thing, but Rude here has made it the centerpiece of their home. It feels so cozy and lived in, and the way that they've incorporated all of these berries and other plants around makes it feel homey and comfortable. I love the fireplace on the side here. I love the way that Rude has used every inch of the space that they have available. This is such a clever use of the bookshelf item. I love to see the bookshelves all over the walls, the skulls on the wall as we climb up, the plants that are all incorporated. Everything here, from the lighting to the fixtures, all of it feels so cozy and well incorporated. I love this home. I really, really like what they've done here. This is incredible. As we get to the top, we can see that Rude has placed the bed right next to the fireplace, and we can look over the banister at this whole room, and man, I cannot stress enough how much I love what Rude has done here with this room. This is absolutely incredible. And of course, I'm sure you're wondering, yes, all of the bookshelves are the secret bookshelf items, so technically all of them could be hidden if Rude wants it to be. Up next, we've got two viewer submissions that, yes, are technically Alliance homes, but these two made incredible Alliance homes, and they took the time to put together their own showcase, so I am more than happy to break the rules to show off these incredible homes. Our first honorable mention goes to Horde on plot number 15, who has created this really, really cool night elf themed outside for their home. Horde took the time to find all of the night elf items that were available on the PTR and grab each of them one by one. And what makes this house even more special is that Horde took the time to incorporate it into the area that the plot is on. This isn't a case where they picked a plot and then built their house on top of it. Horde has made sure that their home feels like it was already here, that their home is themed alongside the plot. This actually is the Night Elf themed area of the Alliance neighborhood. Now, in the submission form, I included a question asking what you wanted me to shout out if I featured your home. And Yorda here has asked that we give a shout out to the Architects of Azeroth Discord. Architects of Azeroth is a new and growing Discord full of people who are in love with the housing feature just like I am. If you want a chill place to talk about housing and showcase any of the builds that you've done, or even learn some of the cool tips and tricks, I'll have a link to them in the description down below. Now, our last Alliance cheat home here is by Luella on plot number 54. Luella has gone for this minimalist feeling on the outside, but made sure that everything that was placed is well thought out, that everything incorporates into the environment perfectly. The way that they've added these extra grass and leaves and flowers to their gazebo and their walkways and to the side of their house is really, really nice. I love this little cooking area on the side that's just asking to have a barbecue or a cookout. And as we go inside to the home, we can see that Luella has really taken the time to make it feel like an actual home. We've got their kills on the mantelpiece, this cozy little area in the living room that goes into the kitchen. We can see that the kitchen itself is really well put together. I love the use of the bar, that little keg item, the way that all of the windows keep the house feeling nice and well lit. And as we go into the bedroom, we can see that this cozy feeling continues. I love the way that such a small room is able to feel so spacious and open with how they've laid out all of their furniture. I love the evil dark book on the table there that is a little suspicious to have in a bedroom. And the bathroom here might even be my favorite, because as you can see, they've incorporated an outhouse into their indoor bathroom. I really like, though, the elevated bathtub that they have here. I like the use of the platform and the curtains to move it up. It helps it feel more private, but also more calm and relaxing. And I love the use of the dividing wall so that you don't have to look at the outhouse when you're taking a bath. And that brings us to number 1, this goblin-themed home by Custodian on plot number 26. And the reason I included this is that Custodian here was actually giving guided, scripted tours of their home all throughout the PTR. When I came up to the home, Custodian gave me a disposable hamburger, as well as a farmer's broom that I think was meant to be the fork. And we'll take a look at their guided tour in just a second, but first let's admire how well put together this outside is. Yeah, there's a bunch of junk everywhere, but that's on purpose. I love the feeling that this is like a goblin's trash house that they're trying to pawn off on someone. I love the inclusion of Onyxia's head on the floor, as though it's also part of the trash. This cute little alcove on the side where you can sit and enjoy your giant pile of garbage. I also love the awning here and the cart, and as we'll see when we look at the tour, this is actually part of the lore of this house. This is part of the story that the Custodian is trying to tell. Now, as we head inside past this lovely little deck chair here, we can see that the goblin theme continues. I love the use of the smallest room as their entrance here, the little goblin room. I love that all of the items have been sized down just a little bit to fit the goblin size. I love that there's still trash all over the floor. The use of all of the different items to add to the aesthetic that they have going here. I particularly love the 2 little unicorns that they have on the windowsill here, which at the time was the first time I had ever seen the little unicorn items. But of course, if this house were just a single closet, we wouldn't exactly include it at number 1, would we? If we go to the side here, past the secret bookshelf door, we can see that this goblin is up to some shady things. We've got the deer head on the table, these boxes stacked up, and as we look closer at each of these rooms, we can see that something a little ominous is going on with this one. Past the curtains here, we see a coffin, as well as a weapon rack and the warlock book being used to give this like ominous apothecary feel on this lectern. As we take a closer look at the stag on the table, you might notice that there's a little hole in the back wall there, and we'll get to that in just a moment, because this is something that I had not seen before and still haven't seen since. But first, let's take a look at the side room, which is actually a bathroom. And you can see that Custodian here has made their own custom toilet using the different items on the PTR. I love the use of the little arrow pointing device on top of a bucket of literal crap as the toilet. It's such a clever and unique way to put together a little goblin bathroom. That's exactly what I would expect. And last, before we get to the guided tour, if we walk through the side here to get to this backdoor garden area that is not meant to imply any illicit activities at all. However, if it were meant to imply certain illicit activities, I would say that this is an incredibly clever and creative way to represent what that is. Next to their rat named Dog, we can see that they've got a scripted walkthrough ready to go, and this is incredible. Custodian calls it the Toilet Indoor Outhouse System for preventing waiting in line behind peons. And before you check, no, that acronym doesn't actually spell anything, although I did spend an embarrassing amount of time trying to figure out if it is. But as you can see, they've got this little scripted event going on for their housing showcase. They say, oh no, the toilet's not working. Let me get out this little tool. They pull out the water gun and they spray it down, presumably to help with the stench. And of course, they have actually hidden a chair inside the bucket so that, yes, this custom-made toilet is usable. Really great attention to detail, really great work. As we get back into the bedroom, I love the way that Custodian keeps the theme going as they show off their home. Custodian describes the incandescent light bulb as the perfect color for the greens and teals in the goblin skin tones. And even further, they have a bit ready to go for the little unicorn items on the window. They weren't just decoration, they're part of the tour. Custodian describes them as highly valuable collectible unicorn figurines, which is such a goblin way to go about describing items on the windowsill. Custodian even has their own story for that head on the mantle we've been seeing in a lot of their houses. Custodian describes how this is an animal that they crashed their Zeppelin into while learning to paint while flying. And if you're wondering, learning to paint while flying, one, that doesn't seem very safe, but two, what did they paint? Well, they've got an answer for that too. This painting on the wall is what they were working on when they crashed into that animal and got its head. Absolutely stellar work. Not only have they designed every aspect of this house perfectly, they thought about the story that it tells, and they took the time to tell that story. My favorite bit, I think, is the critique of the door here. Custodian describes it as a human-made door imported all the way from Elwyn Forest. They describe it as having a primitive construction and say that you can tell hours and hours were spent on the door, and yet it is still so flawed. And as if all of that wasn't enough, Custodian even took the time to incorporate their story into what is around their plot. I mentioned earlier that awning with the cart behind it, and here Custodian says, let me introduce you to my neighbors. They specialize in importing Alliance-made goods. And if we go out the house over to the side, we can see that Custodian's plot is actually right next to the Alliance housing vendors on the neighborhood. If you don't know, both neighborhoods have vendors of the opposite faction tucked away somewhere in the neighborhood. And because Custodian has put their house right next to their vendors, they decided to incorporate that into their story. Absolutely fantastic work. Not only has Custodian perfected every single part of their house, from the theming to the story to the walkthrough, but remember, Custodian and everyone else featured here had one day to make most of these things. While the housing playtest was extended into the weekend, all of this footage is from the first day or two. Everything that you have seen, both in this video and the last, were what players could come up with in one day. I am so excited for this housing feature. I know that once people have weeks and months to work with these features, there are going to be some incredible, stellar houses, and I cannot wait to see them. I did see a couple of comments asking, and yes, if you use the toy to get very small, you can fit in the tiny gazebo inside the gazebo inside the gazebo. The only problem is that you can't get out. Once you're in there, you're stuck. We're gonna start this list with ADHDD on plot number 17. And already you can tell that this is going to be an incredible list. If we're starting out with a house that looks this good, you just know that this list is stacked. The outside area we have here, we've got this well and this gazebo off on the sides, which are both incorporated well into the natural foliage of the plot that we have here. And we can see this cute little stag going around the side of the gazebo because animals do incorporate themselves into the plot as you are there. Coming around to the front here, we can see that they have used a trellis and some plants to frame the front of their house, which is a very clever use of those items. But moving inside, we can see, wow, this stairwell that's here is not the natural stairwell. This is one that ADHDD has custom built for themselves. I love this giant fireplace centerpiece with the reading nook on the side there. The way they've used a pillow to clip these two couches together into one big corner couch is really, really cool. Moving up to the top of the stairs here, we've got this private little bedroom area that is very well put together. It's very cozy. You got a little tea on the side there and these cushions and stools. It feels like someone has been living here. It's really nice. And as if all that wasn't enough, if we go underneath, we can see that there is actually a secret bookshelf door hiding a little under the stairs bedroom, which they described as a little Harry Potter cupboard in the bottom here. And it looks amazing. They got their own little fireplace and chair and bed, and you would have no idea that that was there if you were looking at the rest of it. It is so perfectly hidden behind everything. Really incredible work. At number 8 here, we've got Kruger on plot number 16, and man, when I said this was a stacked list, I meant it. First of all, this little patio area on the side that Kruger is sitting in is actually incredible. I looked at so many houses over the course of the PTR, and I hadn't seen anyone else think to put together this cute little patio type area, and they've incorporated it so well into the natural wood of the house. It's a genius idea executed so perfectly. The stone path here goes off to that nice little well on the side, and of course in the back here we've got a beautiful gazebo with these trellises, and the gazebo is placed in such a way that you have a lovely view of the forest around the plot, which is just really nice. Off on the back of the house here, we've got this giant barrel, as well as some storage areas on the back. But as we go inside the home, I love the dwarven theme of the inside here. Not a lot of people went for that theme on the PTR, but here it is executed so expertly well. The way that these stone chairs are incorporated with that Coltiran fireplace, making both of them feel like they're from the same set. I love the telescope pointing out to the window with the cool magic book. We've got this kitchen area to the side with this beautiful roast on it, as well as these little wooden chairs that aren't used very often. And we've got the little stove and the spices behind. We can see that one of the corners here is this lovely little reading nook type area with this storage and these pillows. Meanwhile, the other corner has this architect table and this other planning book. And the bedroom itself is so cozy and well put together with this dwarven bed. To the side here, we of course have a bathroom. We've got the wash bin and the toilet and the mirror. It's a really nice incorporation of the dwarven theme, especially since most of the dwarven items on the PTR just weren't incorporated yet. And as we head out, I've got to point out this lovely little fishing pole rack. I love the little fishing poles on it. I need this item. It's so nice. Next up at number 7, we've got Stormgeddon on plot number 23. This is one of those houses that is just begging to have screenshots taken. It looks so nice, the way that it's been incorporated here. I love the little overgrowth growing off the sides, but on top of that, I love that the entire plot has been used, that it's all incorporated well. We've got these carts, including this cool little bread seller cart that I hadn't seen before. I really like it. It's a lovely, unique little item here. Under the canopy, we've got the spices and the fruits. You can kind of picture how this whole little right side area would be its own little market. And then we look to the left and man, look at this house. Over onto the left side, we've got this cool draconic rune, as well as more carts underneath a canopy. You can see that Stormgeddon has really nailed this sort of like working market type house. It really feels like something happens here every day, like resources are coming in and out and things are moving around. And as we move past this fountain here to the gazebo, we can see that this plot has an incredible view What a stunning view for this plot. This is plot number 23, and man, I mean, how do you compete with this? That waterfall in the background, as well as that little nature path to the side, which is connected to your plot, and you can go up all the way. This plot actually has its own private pathway up into the mountainside. It's genuinely incredible. And as we head inside, look at this grand hall here. I love the way that these 3 tables are incorporated together to make this sort of long, sort of lavish type of eatery where you can picture a whole party of famous, important people sitting down to eat together. I like the little night elf glaive and the crystal right over the fireplace, which help to add to the atmosphere of the whole area. As we move into the kitchen here, we can see another stand filled out with these books here. I imagine that they might be cookbooks or even maybe ledgers if the theme of this house is like going for trading and shops. And then we see the actual kitchen area itself, and look at that. I love how they've incorporated these little fire braziers as stoves into the countertop. The way that they've merged different types of items to create a fully complete countertop and a cupboard in the back. These little fires here look as though they're used for cooking, and of course we've got some beautiful tea and other foods on the bar here ready to be served. As we move back through the main room here to see all of the heads on the walls and move into the stairwell room, we can see that this one was work in progress. But first of all, that crystal item there, I hadn't seen anywhere else. In fact, Stormgetty was not able to remember where they got it from, but I hadn't seen a single other plot incorporated. As we come up past these burning braziers clipped into the stairwell to make this sort of burning stair feel, which is really cool, we can see that the top here has incorporated a lot of the other items that weren't able to fit in other areas. This giant gong here is really cool, lovely design on it. We have that goblin machine from the One-Armed Bandit achievement. And in this room, we've got this cozy fireplace, as well as the Dragonflight Great Vault item, which is awesome, and I believe is tied to one of the meta achievements in Dragonflight. You can imagine how well that item might be able to be incorporated into other areas within a home. Now, as we look to the side here, we can see a secret bookshelf door that takes us into the main bedroom of the house, which Stormgetty said was also a work in progress, but what's here already looks incredible. Now is probably a good time to mention that if you want to showcase your house when this feature goes live, we have a forum down in the description below where you can submit your house to be showcased on a future video. And if you like housing showcase videos, be sure to subscribe so that you can catch the next one every time it releases. Up next, we've got Irem on plot number 43, and oh man. While most people use the Alliance neighborhood, Irem here provides a masterclass in what the Horde neighborhood is capable of. The outside of the home here is magnificent. It is absolutely gigantic. The way that it takes up all of the room on the plot here, it looks huge and well put together. But more than that, this plot actually has these little wooden balconies on the side, and Irem has made sure to furnish all of them. We've got the chair and the bath there on the side so that you can wash up while you look at the beach down below. And over on this side here, we've got a seating area with some food so that you can eat and plan and relax, all with this incredible view that this plot gets. I know a lot of people prefer the Alliance neighborhood, but I gotta say the Horde neighborhood has some of the single best plots in the entire game. They're incredible. To the right of the home here, we have this lovely canopy that has been perfectly integrated into the building itself, where they're storing a bunch of little things. We've got a keg, a barrel full of grapes, and we've got some other little barrels and boxes, which are awesome. And if we take an aerial view of Irem's house, we can see not only is this giant apple tree really, really cool, which, by the way, they made by incorporating multiple apple trees together, we can also see that the top of the house here is not just for show. If you noticed, some of the balconies here are actually furnished. Starting on this balcony here, we've got these two little chairs and these little flowers all around it. On the other side, we have another balcony that has these two chairs and a plant. Some of the balconies have a bath. It's really cool how Irem has used every inch of their property here, how every single part of the outside area has been incorporated so well into the house and into the plot. And as we go inside, you can see that most of this is empty, but that's actually on purpose. You see, Irem here was working on something else. This. Irem has custom built their own magnificent bed here. Look at how well they've incorporated the marble pillars, the marble platforms, lining them up, clipping them in each other to make this gigantic, incredible bed. This bed is so big, it's actually 2 beds together. The design on the backing here, the way that they've made these triangle diamond shapes on the back. I said it before and I've said it again, this list is stacked. Look at this thing, it's incredible. Now at number 5 here, we've got a Torres on plot number 29. And first of all, I like the way that they've made the front path into their house. But on the right side here, we've got this lovely enclosed garden where they've mixed different styles of trellises together to create the feel that they're looking for, which is really cool. It's a very clever way to use these items. We can see from the inside the trellises have been filled out with plants and berries. We've got a fountain and a well. It's a really cozy, lovely little secluded area all to its own. Just behind that garden area, we've got this gazebo that is also well furnished and that has a very nice view of the river to the side here. On the other side of the house, opposite the garden area, we have this little cooking outdoor area. I love that we've got this keg and the little fire and furnace, but also the book and the food here, as though it's not just an area to cook food, it's just an area to be, to relax, to spend time with your guildmates. It's actually pretty awesome. Now inside, we can see a home that uses pretty much every technique that we've seen before in other showcases. Torres has gone above and beyond in how they've incorporated these different building techniques into their own home, and we'll get to see that as we go through each of the different side rooms. The main room here has this beautiful table in the middle with a chandelier. I'm a huge fan of this painting wall on the side, but also of that spotlight directly on Onyxia's head, which is such a cool way to highlight that. Like, yeah, look, I killed the dragon, I put a spotlight on it. What are you gonna do about it? Now, as we come through here, I should mention that back doorway is meant to be a smaller doorway. This is a glitch on the PTR. It put itself back to a wide one, so do keep that in mind as we look there. But we can see that this is a fully furnished bedroom. We've got another trellis with the little trees inside of it. Behind the divider, we've got dressers and some mirrors. This is the place where they'll get dressed for the day, try out their different clothes. And in the back here, we can see the bathroom. And this bathroom does some really clever things that I hadn't seen before. We can see that the faucet where you wash your hands is actually a tiny little fountain that's been incorporated into the wash bin to give this sort of running water sound and feel, which is awesome. We can see that they've custom made a toilet, and they've used this upside down grinder item as the toilet paper, and it actually looks really good. It really does look like the toilet paper. It's kind of surprising how well that fits. Very clever use of those items. As we move past the banner here into this room, we can see the kitchen. We've got the stag heads on the wall, as you've come to expect. To the side here, we have another clever use of that fountain trick to create a faucet for the wash bin, which is, again, very clever, very nice. We've got the use of different fires to make the stove tops, and in the back here, we have a work-in-progress storage area where they're storing all of the different foods and spices and whatnot that you would expect out of a kitchen. Now, as we head back into the main room, yes, as you probably guessed, one of these bookshelves is the secret bookshelf door. This one. And inside, we've got this incredible study. Every single inch of this study has been well planned out. In fact, the more that you look, the more that you'll see things that you did not expect. All across, on every single surface, are little accent items that have been custom placed. You can see the little wagon on the first bookshelf here. On the second, you can see that Horde fountain that has been miniaturized. This entire study area incorporates this design from top to bottom. The things on the walls, the things on the desk, even on top of the bookshelves from our side. We can see those Alliance flags and the carts that have been sized down to just the miniature little size to fit as though they're little knickknacks and different items. It is a masterclass in that smaller detail design that you love to see in these homes. Torres must have spent so long individually sizing and placing all of these items on all of the different shelves and areas to make it look as though it is fully fleshed out, fully furnished. Genuinely incredible work from Torres here, and the way that they've managed to incorporate so many different strategies and building techniques into their home to create something that is fully unique. Up next at number 4, we've got Sheep Token on plot number 36. Now, something that is important to mention about this home is that the player had recently moved it, which actually reset the entire outside. So they were still in the progress of rebuilding what they originally had. But as we get to the inside, I promise you it is absolutely deserving of its spot on this list. It is incredible. The outside here, we can see the starting of the incorporation into the different area. We've got these wagons, these trellises, we've got the beautiful carts on the side there, and of course, we've got this water well on the other side. We can see that Sheep Token is laying the groundwork for an incredible, well-incorporated outside area to match what they've done with the inside. And speaking of the inside, look at this. Sheep Token has done so much here that might go unnoticed at first glance. Yes, there's all these incredible accents, these plants, these curtains everywhere, but more than that, none of these room layouts are actual rooms in the game. Sheep Token has custom-made every single one of these rooms using walls to create the layout that they want, the layout that they're looking for. I love this enclosed bar area to the side. It's such a cool idea, such a unique way to represent that. If we go into the back here, we've got this cupboard area in the back that's covered by these curtains where you can picture storing all of the food and other resources that you need to run the little bar. And as we exit out of the kitchen into the rest of the home, we can see that this clever uniqueness continues everywhere. This sort of slanted wall here with the picture frame is fully custom made to create the room shape that they're looking for. And as we enter this room, we can see that Sheep Token has fully built out the shape that they want for everything. I love this side area to the right here with this reading nook next to the window. It's such a lovely, nice way to set it up. But more than that, we can see this elevated area in the back here. This living space that is an extra step above, which is really cool. I like the use of a casket as the table, which is not something that you normally see, but they've made fit very well into this area. As we come down the platform, we can see this beautiful overgrowth at the side here with this tree that incorporates itself nicely into the surrounding area. And behind us, we've got this door that leads into a bathroom. A lovely, cozy little bathroom with the tub and the sink here and some little plants incorporated in. It's really, really nice. And man, I love walking through this home. It feels so inviting and well planned out. I love the custom way they've built these rooms. It's such a cool idea. And just being in Sheep Token's home makes me want to try it out. It makes me want to experiment on my own with these different types of room dividers to see what you can come up with. It's such an incredible use of these tools that we have been provided. There really is something to be said, not just for the ingenuity that Sheep Token has shown here, but for the skill that they've shown, for the way that they have made it so well incorporated that it doesn't look like a trick they've made, it looks like how this was meant to be. And in these upper bedroom areas, we can see that this is continued. This bathroom area has the raised tub with the little curtain dividers like an actual bathroom might, which is really nice. The seating area in the back here makes good use of the angles of the shapes that were created with the downstairs to create this sort of two-tiered area. And of course, as we go past the curtains into the main bedroom, we can see that everything is framed nice and perfect, and the windows here give amazing lighting. Sheep Token's home here is a masterclass in how you can use these tools to create your own layouts, your own room sizes and shapes and divisions completely separate from the options that Blizzard gives you. Sheep Token has said, Blizzard did not give me the room options I wanted, so I made my own, and they did such an incredible job incorporating it. Now at number 3, we've got Hosanna on plot number 54. And this is one of those homes and one of those plots that is just so picturesque So many angles of this thing look absolutely incredible. Look at the waterfall in the background. The way that Hosanna has incorporated the different foliage of their house to make it look as though it has been here for a long time, that it's part of the forest around it. This is one of those homes that you could use to advertise the housing system. It looks that good. If we go to see the view from the gazebo, I mean, look at that. Look at that incredible waterfall view that you get just by being on this plot. This plot just comes with an incredible waterfall all to yourself. As we head around the back, we've got my favorite, the little chicken coop. I love seeing the chicken coop. Blizzard, please give us actual chickens to go around in our plot. If we've got the coop, give us the chicken. I like how Hosanna has incorporated these different apple trees in the back here, making it look like it's part of the orchard here. Now, the inside here is stunning. I mean, look at this. This is a house where every single inch is well furnished and thought out. On the left here, we've got all of these heads on the mantelpiece, as well as the cool little Pandaren bell and the machine. And then we get to see the kitchen area, and look at those windows to the outside. Hosanna has used that daylight skybox room to create what looks to be working windows. It looks like you're looking out into the trees that were just outside. It's such a cool way to use these items. I love how they've lined everything up. And something that's really cool is that each of these windows gives off light. So when they're stacked together like this, it creates so much light that it looks like daylight. I love how bright it is. It's really cool. Past the picturesque wall where they're showing off all of their paintings and other things, we can see in the back here is a fully furnished bedroom. And something that's really cool about this bedroom is this banister here, how they've created a custom shelf and put a bunch of items on top of it to make it feel populated. We've got the little tiny little Tauren item there on the side, and of course we've got lights to either side on the nightstand and the beautiful stag right above the bed. It's so cool. And over on the side here, we can see that skybox room used again, but this time for a cozy little bathroom that gives you this incredible view, this well-lit window area. I love this window design that they have come up with here. It's so cool. It's such a clever way to use the skybox room. And of course, as we look at this fireplace, we can see all of the little items on the shelves, how they've made it all so well furnished. This house is really, really cool. I love how well it incorporates all of these different tools, and I also like how it feels like one room. Hosanna has managed to make this small area feel huge. They've gotten so much mileage out of every square inch here. It is incredible work. And at number 2 here, we've got Goober Schnob on plot number 31. First of all, great name. Second of all, there's a lot to like about this plot. For one, the overgrown gazebo on the side here is pretty unique, actually. I had seen people incorporate plants into the gazebo before, but never before had I seen someone decide, well, what if the plants fully overtook the gazebo? What if the gazebo was eaten up by all of the different plants? But on the left here, we've got this incredible use of the greenhouse item. I love the string of clothes between it and the tree on the side here, and we can see all of the little plants growing within it. We've got a bench here so that you can look at everything that's growing in and all of these different plants. It's a really nice way to incorporate it. But the real star of the show here is the inside. And Goober Schnob here has got a lot of items that I had not seen used anywhere else before. I love how cozy this room feels. I like the string lights all up on the top, the fact that there's books and other things tucked away in boxes in different corners. We've got the Warrior Order Hall items incorporated. They've made sure to flesh out everything with different shelves and cupboards, make every single part look as though it was well thought out, look as though every part of this is planned. As we go to the side here, we can see the way that they've incorporated a chest on top of the dresser to give it this unique look, which is really, really cool. As we go into the side here, we can see that Goober Schnob's work has gone everywhere. I love this Pandaren back wall here, which incorporates so well into the kitchen theme that they are going for in these two rooms as we're here. As we go back into the actual kitchen, we can see the tiny tree in the middle, which is so cute. And the way that they've used posts to put that keg on the top there, as though the bartender could get some drinks out of it at any time, is really cool. We've got the classic storage room in the back here that Gooberschnob said was still a work in progress. And as we go into the stairwell room, we can see some incredible work. Underneath the stairs, we've got the architect table, a bunch of books and different shelves incorporated really well together. We've got the Pandaren stove incorporated into the other corner so that you've got this sort of reading and cooking area all in one. We've got another fully furnished book area, and then this giant purple pipe, which I think you get from the current rep on the current raid tier, which is really, really cool. If we go past the lovely little reading nook on the side here, we can see that more of these purpley, crystally items get incorporated as we move up to the top. I love the furnished shelves as we're going up here, as well as the time that they've taken to incorporate different items as different kinds of pots for all of their plants. We've got this cool arcane energy corner here with that little lightning warp gate, as well as another writing and study area at the top of the stairs. Complete, of course, with a beautiful view of the stairway down below. Now, Gooberschnob said the rest of the house back here was still a work in progress, but given the quality of the work in the rest of the house, you can picture how this is going to look once Gooberschnob has had more time to fill it out. In the side here, we've got a bathroom with an elevated bath that they were going to incorporate some sort of light or smoke system into to make it look like a hot tub. And to the left here, we've got the bedroom, which again makes really good use of every inch of space available. I love how they've used actual full trees as little potted plants. It's such a nice, unique touch. How they've sized up the bed in different ways to fit what they're going for. How they've leaned those two drums against each other. We've got the tea and the chairs next to that warm fireplace. Gooberschnob has made this a place that you'd want to live. I love how well all of these different items are incorporated, and I love how different areas of the home have a different vibe to them, a different theming going on. Nothing in here feels accidental, yet none of it feels too sterile. It feels lived in, and it feels well thought out. Gooberschnob has done an incredible work in the one day that they had to mess with this with the tools that they had available, and I can't wait to see what they're able to come up with once this feature goes live. Absolutely stellar work. He's a cute little froggy and he does his little jumps, look at him! Oh, I love the froggy, ribbit. What do you say, Mr. Frog? Do you think we should look at the home? I think we should. And this is number 1, Estella on plot number 44. First and foremost, how well it incorporates into the area around it is something that should be recognized. I love the way that these different plants match the actual plot that they're in, yet feel separate from them in a way that is planned and significant. We've got the Valdrakken lampposts sized all the way into the floor to make this lovely opening area into the house. And if we come to the back here, we can see a fully fleshed out chicken coop area. We've got the little chicken coop and the little fence around it. It's so cute. And to the back of the house, we've got this greenhouse sized up to incorporate itself into the home. And when we enter it, we can see that it is well fleshed out. It is fully furnished. We've got this wash basin to wash our hands. We've got spices and fruits and all of these different kinds of plants growing on the side here. It feels like a little private garden where you could spend your time and relax and work on your little plants that are growing here. It even incorporates the little Tauren mashing mill item thing pretty well. But of course, I wouldn't put something at number 1 just because it has an awesome chicken coop. Although, to be fair, that does help a lot. I love the chicken coops. I love this giant fireplace and how it's incorporated into the carpet and the different stairs. We've got these different bookshelves and these cute little areas in the corners here that are incorporated well. And of course, this incredible custom-made spiral staircase, which we will be coming back to because, wow, just incredible work. But this kitchen area is stunning. I love the way that they have incorporated the different Pandaren items to get the look that they're going for. And this is another case where the closer you look, the more you can see how much detail they've put into this. Most of these shelves, if not all of them, have different custom items incorporated on top to give the feel that the person was looking for. You can see the PvP orb, the Tauren drum, the little cart, and other things, all of them incorporated onto the shelves to give that feeling that they were wanting. I like the use of the marble for the storage area here, and more blue items to kind of make it feel like it's a fridge or a freezer. It just feels cold in there, which is a really clever use of the different items. As we go into the other storage area here, we can see all of these barrels stacked on top of each other, the use of these spice racks and the fruits again, and of course these tiny little boxes on the top here in the little cupboard. But then you open this door. And I mean absolutely incredible. I love how the lights string about the entire perimeter. We've got this custom waterfall on the side into the well. There's an apple orchard here with a little basket to pick up your apples. A giant greenhouse as well that's been well incorporated into the surrounding area that has its own wash basin and these spices and fruits and these different plants growing in with this custom side area they've built in that makes it kind of look like those little rows that you put soil into. I love that they've got this cart leaning against the side and they've put these little baskets on the banisters with little plants inside of them. The vibes here are immaculate. This indoor-outdoor area is just so amazing. This feels like the perfect use of the Skybox room. It feels like you're outside. It looks so good. The gazebo here with the plants growing all around it and the string light running through it is so cool. I love how they've incorporated the lights all across the outer edge and the fountain in the middle to bring it all together. And remember, this room, this incredible room, is just one of the rooms in this house. It's just behind the cupboard. The custom waterfall, the lights, the greenhouse, all of this is just in the back room back here. And we can walk back in and just see this stunning Pandaren room that we just came from. Any of these rooms on its own would be enough to put a house on the list, but the fact that all of these rooms are in the same home, Estella has gone above and beyond for this thing. And of course, we've got to go up this custom spiral staircase, which must have taken so long to put together, Estella. What an incredible piece that you've created here. And we can see that this level of care even extends to the rooms in the upstairs. The upstairs has its own little mini bar here, and we can see that there's a bed in the back, as well as all of these books on the shelves and these couches cozied up to this elevated fireplace. I love the tiny little flamingo on the shelf there, which is such a nice little accent piece. And as we enter the side area, we see this awesome private bathroom here where Estella has used the little lightning pipes to create a faucet and a shower head, which is so clever. What a cool little way to incorporate those items. We've got this custom toilet here using a barrel and another barrel on its side for the toilet paper, which is also very unique and such a cute little way to make the little toilet there. I love it. In the center room of the upstairs, we've got another bedroom, again, fully furnished. We can see the tiny well on the shelf, and I love how they've incorporated these little items into the desk in the mirror and the light here that I think are meant to look like little makeup brushes and stuff, which is really cool. What a clever way to use some cushions in a chair. The bed, of course, perfectly fits into the area here. It feels like such a cozy little living space. I really like it. And of course, it bears reminding that the floor that we're standing on and all of the stairs up here are also custom made. It's not a room option. Estella has placed all of them one by one. The little tea set on the side table here with more storage and items in the back. All of this is incorporated so well, so incredibly. And remember, this is the same house with the Pandaren kitchen and that outside area. This is incredible. Genuinely incredible use of the tools that are provided. Everything that Estella had access to, Estella used. It is amazing. Absolutely floored. Incredible work. Now we're going to start off pretty quickly with two houses here that don't have insides, but I thought were worth showing anyway. First up, we've got Malik on plot number 21, and I included this here because of how well they have put all of these little flowers and trees and other things growing onto their house, and the effort that they put into making it look as though all of these were like sprouting out of the ground around the house. With the addition of this cool stone pathway to the fountain here, you can see that this is the beginning of something that is really cool. Up next, we got Pink 2 on plot number 20, and this is like the exact opposite. Instead of all of these beautiful flowers growing along, we have this big dead tree and a lot of things covered in cobwebs. I think the sort of haunted grove vibe is pretty cool. This was originally put together for the Architects of Azeroth Discord, but everything got wiped when the PTR went through its little glitch phase. I put these little horns and this dark orb around this monk statue here, which I think gave a pretty cool look. I'm a fan of the overturned fountain, and if we go past the Night Elf cover here around to the back, we can see some secret gallows, stockade thingy, and some coffins. So yeah, just two quick outside-only ones before we get to the real deal. At number 7 here, we've got a Danya on plot number 34, and already I am loving the way that they have built this sort of stone path throughout their plot here. I like that these plants are sort of strung about, almost as if the plot has just begun to grow, like a garden is beginning to form. We can see the same with this moonwell here, where we've got these plants sprouting around it, and while this outside was a work in progress, I do think it shows a strong vision for what's going to be here, right? You can already sort of picture what this is going to look like when the player has a little more time and a higher outside budget to put things together. We of course got to check this gazebo view, and by the way, this gazebo is part of the plot itself, which is actually pretty cool, doesn't cost against your room budget. And inside is where we see a lot of the dedication that this player has put in. Adanya has taken this large, open floor plan layout, which I think fits really nice with the Night Elf aesthetic. They have this giant tree they used to live in, they got a lot of space, you know? I particularly like the lighting of the inside here. The Night Elf lampposts, as well as some glowing lamps and crystals, create this really nice atmosphere, this nice ambiance. In the kitchen, we can see that these countertops have been combined with other items to make this cool floating bar here in the middle. And we can see that keg item being put to good use, sized up to make it look like it's holding a lot of something. And if we take a look at the other furnished room, we can see the beginnings of a great Night Elf bedroom. We have the Druid Order book here, as well as a lot of different Night Elf tokens. You can see the start of a closet in the back here that's going to be filled out and furnished. I love the addition of the Night Elf divider here right by the dressers, and of course we've got to check, and yes, this bedroom does have a bath. Great work from Adanya here on the start of their Night Elf home. Up next at number 6, we've got Sinreen on plot number 10, and I love the way that this fits the sort of darker Duskwood atmosphere that is available in the Alliance neighborhood. The addition of all of these plants around the outer edge of the home helps it merge well with the plot. In the back here, we've got a cute little chicken coop. I love the chicken coop. As we look at the back of the house, we can feel this sort of purple glow that I believe the player has gotten by hiding lighting items in the floor, which is awesome, by the way. I hope to see more of that used in the future. And as we come past this gazebo, admire its view, we can go across the stone path past this fountain, which the player said was a work in progress as well, and they were planning to flesh out once this goes live. The overgrowth over the side of the house is a really nice touch, and it helps to make this house feel like it's been here a long time, that Sinreen didn't just place it here today, even though they did. And hey, if you're liking these housing showcases, don't forget to subscribe, it helps the channel a lot. And while you're down there, make sure to leave a comment telling me about your favorite plot on today's list. Make sure to give tons of praise to the person that you choose. Now inside is where things get really nice. First of all, the chandeliers across the rooftop are incredible, and we get to see here the use of the dye system. Most of these items are not originally blue, but Sinreen here has dyed all of them blue so that they can fit this sort of higher elf Kaldori aesthetic that they were going for. Normally you see purple associated, but the blue looks almost more royal in a way. The kitchen here is very well laid out. I love the spices and the fruits that we've seen in a lot of other homes, and of course we have to check. And yes, it does have a bathroom, although what makes this bathroom unique is how they've made the little toilet, by making this little night elf tent over a stool, which makes it look like a sort of inside outhouse, an in-house in a way. In the back corner here, we've got a very nice looking reading nook. Again, these blues go together so well. The addition of the pillows on the countertop there, as though you could sit on that bar by the windowsill and read. And although the other rooms are not yet furnished, we do get to see a furnished bedroom here. I think the moonwell in the bedroom is a nice touch. You know, the stereotype of like splashing your face with cold water in the morning. Imagine doing that with moonwell water. And we get to see this night elf bed that has been dyed. I am assuming that the texture glitchiness is something that will be fixed in the future. Really nice work from Cynrine here to show off not just a great layout for their house, not just all the cool night elf items, but also the way that the dye system can be used to change how these items feel. Up next at number 5, we've got the Thistle on plot number 2. And this one's really cool because they've actually created this sort of 2-layer fence for their house. You can see we're going into the inside of the fence, past this fountain and the doghouse, but you'll also get to see the Thistle themselves walking along the outside of the fence, and they do have a stone path going across the outer area as well. It's a really cool way to divide up the plot between 2 different areas that you could decorate separately. The private gazebo here is a great place to sit around and read, and on the back of the house, I have to give kudos to the way that they have made all of these little vines and other plants grow along that trellis there up into the house, and that's something that they did say they were going to expand on in the future. In the back corner, we of course have an outhouse, but inside is where we see some amazing things. First, I love houses that make a use of this stairway room as their opening. I think it's so cool. The fireplace area here feels very homey, and this cool purple crystal thing that gives off light fits really well with the night elf vibe. And I like how underneath this stairway here, we've got all the storage and different other supplies. It's a cool place to put it all, and I think it fits the atmosphere very well. As we climb the stairs, if we were to look behind us, we can see this cool shelf on the wall here that's been furnished with some books and a candle. Really nice touch, something you only see on your way back down. That painting there, by the way, is apparently crooked on purpose to add some personality to the wall. And up top here, we can see a custom room layout that the Thistle has made. They've used the night elf walls to make a partitioning of this room that allows them to break it up into 3 separate rooms, which is a great way to go about using this space. Each of the 3 rooms has a different, unique bed, and behind the divider over here, we can see the bathroom that is shared between all of them. It gives this sort of family home vibe, where we have 3 different bedrooms that share the bathroom and all have a meal downstairs together. And while the Thistle said they planned to add more furnishings in the future, I think given the downstairs, you can definitely see where a lot of this is going to go. You can see the vibes that they're going for, this sort of home sweet home, but it's a night elf home type feel, which I think goes really well with a lot of the items that we had on the PTR. Now at number 4, we've got Nightlighter on plot number 2. And already we can see these really cool night elf big like archways that you can incorporate. To the left here, we've got that blue night elf flag, which I believe is the exact flag from Warsong Gulch. In fact, I believe that's how you get it. And then we get to look at their home, and man, it's so cool how they've incorporated the night elf little canopy things into the house itself. And I love seeing that giant tree grow out of it, as though the house itself was built around the tree. It's very, very cool. Over here, we've got the classic moonwell area with these 3 stones and the large moonwell in the middle. It looks like something Blizzard themselves would put together, like you'd find in the old Dark Shore. It's a great addition. And here we can see a little fawn. I love that little animals can walk along your plot, especially if they're gonna be little baby deers. Especially for these night elf themed plots, the addition of the wild animals walking around really helps with the overall vibe and feel, like it's one with nature. This isn't disrupting the area around it, it is part of the area. And let's get a good side view of the house here, where we can see how cool it is to incorporate the canopy in that way. I like how they've positioned the tree to perfectly come out of the Mage Tower extension from the house, and I like how they have different tents at different levels of depth outside of their house to create this sort of different room type feel. And that, along with the way that they have positioned these different plants and vines, help really frame that opening of the house. Very good work. And something really cool that Nightlighter has done with their plot is they have made the inside match the outside, which we'll get to in just a moment, but first I have to appreciate this Moonwell trellis combo that they have on the sides of the walls here with the flower growing out of it. It's a cool way to combine those items together. We have a bathroom to the side here, of course, with a custom toilet made by clipping a chair and a stool together. Nice addition to any bathroom, I think. Honestly, one of my favorite things is seeing all the clever ways that everyone makes a toilet. There are so many different ways to do it, and all of them are unique. And then we come into the main room here, and we get to see the base of that tree that was growing out on the outside. Nightlighter has made the inside match the outside. The branches are all going in the right direction. This crystal providing lighting, and of course these carpets all around it to make this sort of communal seating area around the center tree of the home. The kitchen is, of course, fully furnished. We've got this food on the table here, and I like how they've made this sort of bar cooking area. Especially the way that they have put all of these tiny little items on the back here on the different shelves to make it feel like this is a kitchen in use, that these items have been placed here for convenience and that someone is using this to cook something every day. As we pass by this giant tree once again, we can see that the middle room here is this giant, like, glowing moonwell room. These bushes and trees and windows that line the outer layer provide this cool, glowing lighting to the room, and they've positioned that tiny little seed you get from the Druid Order Hall above the moonwell to give it this sort of enchanted vibe, making it feel like this seed is somehow important, somehow magical, maybe even another world tree seed. It's a very cool way to combine what is otherwise a kind of insignificant item to prop it up and give it this amazing, magical, larger-than-life feel. And finally, we have the bedroom, which first of all has this beautiful reading nook here. I love the use of the lighting from the window and this cool book placed on the desk as though this is actively in use. In the back corner, we've got the actual bed with a nice little light and a chest along with it. Feels very cozy and private there. And then we have a private bathroom for the bedroom as well. We've got the wardrobe, we've got the mirror, and of course we've got the bathtub and the sink behind the divider. Really nice work from Nightlighter here, and again, I particularly love the way that this giant tree has been incorporated into both the inside and the outside. Now at number 3, we've got Twelly on plot number 15, and something really cool about these last 3 plots is that all of them knew each other. These were all next to each other and made by people who were actually friends. I love the way that they have used these trees to sort of mark out the perimeter of their plot, making it sort of private in theirs, how it's incorporated into the forest but also separate from it. Now, one thing that is stellar about this plot is this separated area to the side here. We can see that they've used bushes to create this sort of private sequestered area, and as we come around, we can see that it is a lovely little relaxing area. The fountain here alongside all of these chairs and the large bed in the back make it feel as though this is a private garden that is meant to be enjoyed, a place where you are meant to come and sit down and relax and just sort of take in the ambiance. And if we happen to look behind some of the bushes over here, we can see a lovely little chicken coop! Chicken coop is always a bonus in my book. And inside the plot, things get even better. We can see another giant tree centerpiece, which I think is a great addition to any Night Elf home. If we come to the side, we see this lovely fireplace with these little pillows around it, making a nice seating area where you can relax together. We've got the start of a kitchen to the right here. Twelly did say that this was a work in progress. Now, as we move past the centerpiece tree, we can see one thing that I really appreciate about Twelly's house is how they have moved the stones into the floor so that you still get that stone aesthetic, but your camera isn't bumping up and down as you walk over them. Thank you very much for that little feature, Twelly. Now, as we come past this Moonwell purple corner here, we can see this. I think this stairwell room is beautiful. I love the way that these candles provide mood lighting, how that couch is so inviting. You just want to sit there and take in all of the nature around you. It's a really cool way to frame that room. And of course, as we head up the stairs, we can see that the plants continue upward from the center, that it's not just for show down below, that it actually extends all the way to the top. The top here is the starting of a storage area. We've got these beautiful chests strewn about, but there's actually something else about the bottom stairway that I want to show you. There's actually a special additional feature here that I bet you didn't notice. If we come right to the right here, past the couch and past the bushes, we can see a little secret path. And if we follow the secret path behind, we end up in a secret, sequestered bedroom. Complete, of course, with the perfect candle mood lighting. This back area here is amazing. It would feel so good to have this as your bedroom, to be able to sit back and relax in this private little nook in the back, surrounded by all of these trees, all of this shrubbery, and of course, including this amazing mood lighting. Is it a fire hazard? Maybe, but that's a risk that we're willing to take for rooms that look this good. Now, at number 2 here, we've got Theodore on plot number 18, and you'll see why when we head inside, but first, let's appreciate how they've made this sort of haunted, darker feeling for their outside aesthetic. I like that they took the Duskwood area and instead of trying to make it beautiful to stand out, they decided to incorporate it. We can see a lot of use of these darker tones, these more muted colors for the flowers and the other plants so that it fits with the surrounding. The gazebo in the back here has these beautiful flowers in front and a great view of the ocean down below. And again, I really appreciate the degree to which this home has decided to fit itself within the aesthetic, that this home feels kind of like one of those creepy cabins that you would expect in Duskwood. To the side here, we can see some coffins, and I did check, yes, that coffin is empty, which might be a good thing, might be a bad thing, depending on how you feel about dead walking. And to the right of the home, we've got this private, sequestered little fountain area that has all of these little plants growing around it in a way that helps to frame it. Now inside, I mean, look at this. Once again, a great use of the dyes to make all of these items match. I do like the more traditional purple night elf aesthetic, but this house is really, really good. We've got this overgrowth in the corner here. The way that those upside down trees in the back there help to frame the entranceway into the next room. I love how cozy and inviting this area around the fireplace is. We've got the cushions on the floor as though someone has been living here. And Theodore is very skilled when it comes to using plants to frame things. I like the little flowers on top of the fireplace, but also how the potted plants around it help to give it this defined shape. And if we go into the stairwell room, look at this centerpiece. It's so good. All of these different plants incorporated together. If we look to the left, we have a fountain that looks just as good. All of these plants looking as though they grew naturally out of the running water. Underneath the stairwell, we have this kitchen area that has been sequestered off and made private. I like the use of the wash bin in the back and all of those tiny little spices on the tables. Taking another look at this centerpiece, it is amazing. Those couches in front of it, by the way, are a custom combination of different items that you couldn't tell if you didn't already know. And of course, as we head up, we can see that all of these trees and different plants, it continues the full way up. We have these private little reading nooks that are accentuated by that centerpiece. And in the back here, we can see once again another beautifully framed fireplace here. I love the red coming down from the ceiling, the way that it sort of envelops. The bedroom to the right here makes excellent use of the space. I like the curtains covering the windows so that you still get that lighting, but it feels more private. And I like the way that they've dyed the carpet in the bed to all match the theme together. Very well done. And of course, on the opposite side, we've got a bathroom with, once again, another custom toilet, this time made by incorporating a wash basin into a chair. And once again, the use of these upside-down trees coming down from the ceiling is a really nice way to frame the sort of bath that he has going here. It's an excellent technique to add a little bit of flair and pizzazz to the plants that they've got here. And on the banister at the top of the stairs, we have another beautiful reading area that fits so well with the rest of the aesthetic. The inside of Theodore's home here is such a good use of the dyes and the different Night Elf Kaldori items to create this sort of merge between the nature aspect of the Night Elves and their civilization aspect. It doesn't feel like these two things are clashing, it feels like they are in harmony with one another, that it is both of these ideas at the same time. And finally, at number 1, we've got Nixiva on plot number 2. And this one is incredible. First of all, this whole outside area is just begging to be a wallpaper. In fact, I actually did make a wallpaper of this, and it will be in the description down below if you want. It loops perfectly, and you get to hear all of the natural ambiance of this plot. To the right here, we can see this lovely giant fountain with Theodore sitting on top of it, and one thing that this plot does quite well is separating all the different areas so that they all feel unique. In a way, the use of dividers here makes the plot feel larger than it actually is. Even though all of the plots are the same size, the fact that this has been sectioned off in such a way makes it feel larger, makes it feel as though this person has access to more room. One thing that Nixiva has done exceptionally well across this plot is making all of the different items and plants feel naturally placed, feel as though they are a natural way that this would look. In fact, in a way, this whole plot looks like something Blizzard would make. It looks professionally done. And then we get to the inside, and I mean, this blew me away. First of all, this nature walkway as you head in is such a good way to sort of get you into the vibe of the home. And then this centerpiece here. Look at the way that they've layered all of these different plant and flower items, how they've used the moonwell and the different lighting to create this magical centerpiece. We've got this cute elevated reading nook area right next to the window, which looks amazing, complete with a little cobweb in the corner there. We just have to look at this centerpiece a little more. I mean, it is incredible from every side, and back behind it, we can see a little eating area with, of course, we've got all of these plants continuing to grow. Past the centerpiece one more time, we then get into the stairwell room, and here, all of it continues even more. I love this little nook area in the side here, next to the tiny fireplace with the tea and the desk there. It's a great little study area, and just behind it is a storage area where we can see a couple of things on the shelves, everything getting put together as we speak. And behind that, we've got this reading area with this tea and this book, nice and sequestered, giving this really cozy feel. And one thing this plot is exceptional with is the way that there are somehow plants everywhere, and yet it doesn't feel overgrown. It doesn't feel like a bunch of sterile plants that one player has placed one by one. They all feel like natural growth. They all seem like exactly how these plants should have grown, how they should have been incorporated. It looks beautiful. We've got the classic trees coming down from the ceiling, and we've got another overgrowth corner, which I love every one of these. They're all completely unique, and yet they all fit into their area. This bath area in particular looks like such a calm and relaxing place to take a bath. I love the way that it's framed with the different trees. And then we look at the bedroom. And I mean, look at that. How would you not want that as your bedroom? That looks amazing. The moonwell and the light post to the side here, again, giving that feeling of the sort of water that you use to wake yourself up. We've got more growth to the right here, complete with a bench to sit down and enjoy. And then this bed here is incredible. What a majestic looking bed. And we've got to see it from its point of view. I mean, once you're laying here and looking out, look at that view. I mean, you sleep here, you feel like a king, right? You feel like you're in charge of everything. You're on top of the world. This is an incredible night elf home. Every single inch of this from top to bottom is perfectly laid out. Everywhere you look, there's a plant growing somewhere, there's an accent somewhere, there's even little pillows on the stairs to give that feeling that someone has been living here. Nixiva has done such a stellar job of showing off what can be done with the night elf aesthetic items that were on the PTR. And of course, do keep in mind that this is the PTR. In the future, there may be even more night elf themed items for them to make use of, but as it is already, this centerpiece is gorgeous. The stairwell room is gorgeous. That upstairs bedroom is amazing. Absolutely perfect. This is the perfect night elf home. Amazing work here from Nixiva. We're going to start off with Moritz on plot number 30, and man, this might be one of the most stacked lists yet. Now, every house included here has done something unique or special that I hadn't seen anywhere else, and for Moritz here, it's the way that it sort of blends in with the surrounding area. The border of the fences here are the border of the plot, and yet it flows into that NPC area to the side very, very well. In fact, I may even go as far as to say that this is the perfect way to build this plot. It fits so nicely with the surrounding area, and it just looks like it belongs here. Excellent work from Moritz. If you're liking the Housing Showcase videos, don't forget to subscribe, and an extra special shout out to the new channel members, Tracy Hanote and BluestCheese. Thank you so much for your support. Up next, we've got Bjorgus on plot number 44, and we'll get to what makes this one in particular unique in just a moment, but first it is worth taking the time to appreciate the other things that they have around outside here. We can see they've used these sized up apple trees to blend their house into the surrounding area to make it feel as though the surrounding forest continues in harmony with the home rather than in spite of it. To the right here, we've got that lovely fountain that we saw on the last plot with some benches around it that makes for a very nice observation area for the views around this plot. I deeply appreciate the inclusion of the doghouse and a lovely little chicken coop. And of course, in the back here, we've got the classic corner outhouse. But as we come around behind the home, we can see the thing that makes this house stand out. And it's this side area here. Now, there's actually a lot to appreciate about this side area, and the longer you look at it, the more you notice. First of all, the vines coming down from the trellises above are very nice to look at, but more so, this wall here is actually quite unique. They've taken the Gilnean stone wall item and flipped it upside down, clipped it into the floor, in order to create this sort of flat-topped wall that we see. I hope as this feature goes live, we get to see more of these ingenious, inventive ways to combine items together to create an item that doesn't actually exist, but that fits the home's aesthetic well. Up next, we've got Musu on plot number 24. And we'll see what makes this home unique when we go inside. But first, of course, let's take a second to appreciate the outside that they have here. Musu has taken advantage of the excellent view that this plot has, especially with the ocean out in the distance, and has created a couple of viewing areas. To the side, we've got a beautiful little chicken coop, as well as a stone path that goes down to the actual beach side. And of course, over on the left here, we've got that classic outhouse. But it's when we get inside where we see what makes this so unique. And first of all, this giant centerpiece fireplace is so cool. The bone dragon coming off the front of it is a great way to accentuate it. To the left here, we have a custom window, using the Skybox room that you may have seen before to create a window that looks three-dimensional, that looks as though it goes out into the outside. Now, this troll Dazaralor style bed is one that I hadn't seen before, and I can't wait to see how more players might incorporate this into, say, a troll-themed home. But it's when we come into the last room here that we see the little surprise that makes this home unique. Musu has created an actual working stables, and this is really cool. The different dividers between the different stable areas, the use of a door clipped into the floor to create that sort of barn door that you would expect, using the leaves at the bottom of every one of these stable areas as though it's like the hay that goes at the bottom. It's just a really clever way to do all of these things. And Blizzard, if you ever get around to letting us show off our mounts, which please do, by the way, You can imagine Musu having all of their favorite mounts in each of these different stable areas, and I would love if Blizzard were to add that functionality. Up next, we've got Moonlily on plot number 29, and first and foremost, this sideways tree coming out of a rock is a very nice way to frame the entrance to your plot. I love how Moonlily has combined these two different fountains together in a way that makes it feel like its own item. And as we come to the side of the fountain, we can see this beautiful sun rays coming through the trees and this gorgeous view of the front of their house. And of course, anytime we see a gazebo, we've got to check that view. We can see over to the left there, we've got this fishing dock that is actually part of the plot itself. And if we are to go ahead and take a look inside, we can see this magnificent centerpiece created by combining quite a few different items together in one. There's cushions, there's fountains, there's pillars, there's marble platform, all of them fused together in a way that sort of elevates that tree centerpiece that we've seen in some houses before. The shrine area over to the left here is another lovely addition to the plot, and the way that they've used the different leaves and other bushes and vines to create the sort of undersoil for the other plants is quite unique. As we go down the hallway, I do appreciate the use of nature to frame this spell, but we can see the technique that makes this plot unique. It's this little step up here. Now, this might not seem like anything special if you haven't engaged with the housing system before, but it's an addition that actually gets more cool the more that you think about it, because there are a lot of different possibilities that come when you separate the elevation of your home in just these slight different ways. It adds a lot of personality to the different rooms around here. The step up and step down allow for a different kind of differentiation that you don't get natively out of the housing system. And if you look closely at some of the walls, you'll notice that some of them are further out than others. There's an element of added depth that Moonlily has managed to create. And it's the addition of this extra depth that helps set this plot apart. In fact, we can see this principle even on the way out, where you step up the stone onto the wood in order to access the door. Really cool proof of concept from Moonlily on plot number 29. At number 5 here, we've got Voidhorn on plot number 14, and it's from this point onward in the list that we get to the houses that are fully fleshed out unique ideas. Every home included from here on out has taken that special thing that helps their house stand out and has elevated it, magnified it to the entire plot. The seating area here seems extremely relaxing next to the fountain and all of these trees, and you'll notice that all of the foliage here sort of frames the opening of the home. It sort of invites you to come on in. And when we go inside, we can see the reason for that. Voidhorn here has not created a home for themselves, they've created this whole fully fleshed out hotel. There's different rooms all about, different bathrooms and bathtubs. Everything is laid out to create this sort of hostel vibe, as though multiple different people could stay here at the same time and get along very well. In fact, Voidhorn has made their entire home fit this different idea, fit this different aesthetic. As we go up to the second floor here, we can see that there are different separate seating areas. I do have to say, it's very clever of Voidhorn here to use all of these trellises as dividers. Trellises are a pretty ingenious tool here because they do provide the sort of structural separation between these areas, but the openings within the trellis that let you see through to the other areas help to keep this area feel more public and more inviting, sort of more communal in a way. And the top floor here is absolutely sublime. Whereas a lot of people had used these different food items as sort of storage in the back, here they're all displayed prominently because, again, this is a public space. It sort of puts out all of the food available for all of the people here. I love the way that this kitchen transitions into this seating area behind here, where the cozy lighting and the fire and, of course, the stag on the mantelpiece help to create that sort of faux homey vibe that you get out of hotels. I did check, and yes, this is a secret bookshelf, but no, there's no secrets behind it. As we come around behind us, we can see the tragic end of our friend Rattle there, as they fall multiple stories down to their death. And of course, we do have to mourn the loss of our dear friend Rattle, who, by the way, does have a home later on this list. Rest in peace, Rattle. You will be missed. Up next, we've got Hagareg on plot number 28. And as we enter inside, the first thing that we see is this elegant spiral staircase to the top. Because the first thing this house does is force you to go upstairs, because this house is a tree house. I love the way that depth is used here to emphasize the sort of aesthetic that they're going for with the home. We've got this fully furnished kitchen area to the side here that has been divvied up in a way that allows for free movement all around, something that I quite like. To the back here, we see an elvish-style bedroom, complete with that unique orange window in the back here that really hadn't been utilized too often on the PTR. As we pass the homely lampposts and look to the right, we see this absolutely pultriginous walkway into the rest of the home. We can see the different leaves and vines and other nature elements sort of flow in and out of the banister and of the wooden platforms that they have here. Some go across, some go underneath, some don't touch at all. And when combined with all of these other Tauren items, it creates this sort of tasty combination of these different aesthetics into one. In the back here, we can see the work in progress element of this home. Hagareg says that in the future, they plan to incorporate this daylight room in some way, but for now, it's just a beautiful view as you take a bath here over on the side. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, why the second floor? Well, it's not just to create the feeling of height. If we go onto the first floor, we can see that all of the foliage, the canopy that we saw up above, is a real canopy. In other words, the treehouse up above isn't faked, it really is a treehouse. There really are a ton of trees down below that all create the divine, naturalistic feel of the above area. I cannot wait to see what Hagareg is able to come up with once this goes live. Now at number 3 here, we've got housing test on plot number 53. And right off the bat, we can see the inclusion of some different elements that we haven't seen on any other houses before. I'm talking, of course, of this giant thing that's sort of attached to the side of the house here. I enjoy how this device here, whatever it is, can be interpreted in a lot of different ways. You may feel that it is an extension of the home. Maybe it's a chimney of some kind. Maybe that there's something inside the home that is being tinkered with. It's actually pretty nice how one item can be so fanciful in that way, how one item can communicate a whole bunch of different interpretations all at once. To the front of the house here, we can see more of a traditional layout for some of the items here. We've got a giant scaled up keg that empties out into these little barrels here. I did have to check, and yes, these barrels are filled with berries of some kind, so you can sort of assume, alongside the bread cart here, that this is a home where something is produced. And that continues to this sort of furnace area to the side here, to the wagon and the inclusion of these barrels, as well as this sort of tinker storage area on the side. But just as before, what makes this home so unique is the inside. Now at first, this doesn't look like anything. We're in a small cupboard with a moonwell to our left and some bookshelves on the right. But if we were to open the door that's in front of us, we can see this irresistible, beguiling nature greenhouse type thing as the main home. Yes, this area here is small, but in a way it feels much larger. It feels open and inviting. The lighting from all of the different windows to the sides and front here makes this area much brighter than even the outside, which actually creates this calming feeling that's kind of hard to describe unless you're actually there. Even more so, there are little surprises hidden about. You've probably seen the flamingo out to the side there, but there are others too. If we look to the right, we can see a stag head put at such an angle that it looks as though there's a real deer in the back there. You can see that a ton of love and care went into creating this one inside area, and frankly, I find this area to be quite an inspiration. Now at number 2 here, we've got Inspector on plot number 39. And already you can see something that this house does that we had not seen anywhere else. we've got this custom border wall that goes around the perimeter of the house here. And the effort that Inspector has gone to make each and every one of these straight-lined squares fit into a perfectly round circle provides such a winsome appeal to the whole thing. When we go inside, we can see this sort of church vibe. We've got all of these pews looking forward at the lectern there, and now you can see how the wall outside helps to provide the chapel-type feeling that this whole area was going for. But of course, this home has a lot more than meets the eye. If we were to go to the back here and see this secret bookshelf door and use it, whoa, look at that. What a magnificent centerpiece. I love the use of the Blood Elf aesthetic here, the custom stairs that lead us to the top past this amazing centerpiece, these burning braziers, this sort of feeling of hidden riches behind the church area, as though the whole church thing is just a front. In the back here, we've got this smashing bedroom with the cute little knickknacks up on the top there. And if we are to go to the bottom and take a look at the middle area past this red curtain here, another nice expression of the die system, we can see that this has even more going for it. I mean, what an incredible center area. The floating books here are such a charming addition. It adds a whole lot to the aesthetic of the room, way more than you'd honestly expect. I'm actually not sure where this floating book item comes from. This is the only plot that I had ever seen use the item, but it fits so well. It reminds me a little bit of the Scarlet Monastery, if you remember that final boss there that was burning books at the end. I mean, such an exceptional use of all of these different items together. It looks magnificent. This elvish area is already a knockout room for any home. This on its own would deserve the inclusion on any of these lists, and yet all of it is hidden behind this clever little church pew area. Absolutely stellar work from Inspector here. And now at number 1, we've got our old friend Rattle on plot number 41. I am so excited to show this home. I cannot wait until we see what's hiding on the inside. But of course, the outside here has a lot going for it as well. We've got that monk statue sitting there, which is a really nice item, honestly. I'm kind of surprised that we don't see it used more often. Now, one thing this outside area does quite well is create this sort of canopy across the outer areas. All of these giant trees have been sized and placed in such a way that they create this sort of overhang throughout most of the plot. Now, going inside, we can see that this is a fully furnished home. We've got this lovely open area with a fireplace and a couch, and already we can see some unique elements that hadn't been used anywhere else. I'm really happy with the use of the stone paths on the wall here to create this accented piece. It's a pretty ingenious way to use these items, and I'm really excited to see what people come up with in the future to create different textures on their walls, especially since a lot of the options that we have baseline just might not be something that people want. Into this second room here, we can see the bathroom. We, of course, have the classic bathtub. We've got a divider before getting to the toilet. And as always, we do have to check how they've managed to make their own custom toilet. And in this case, it is a barrel and a box stacked together with the Monk Order Hall scroll as the toilet paper. In the bedroom here, we've got this unique chest item with its own animation. I would love to see more of these interactable items in the future. But of course, as we get to the back here, we can see a secret bookshelf door that leads us to something amazing. Now, as we walk through this door, we can see the vibes of the whole place shift immediately. We've got this stony, rocky area with the cobwebs and the overgrowth that honestly kind of gives me the vibe of like a Skyrim home. You know how there's a couple of buildings in Skyrim that are the sort of tavern area in the front, but you go through the back and there's, a mine or something behind it? I think this hits that aesthetic quite well. In the back here, we can actually see custom doors that Rattle has made themselves using the wood planks and a different candle piece. And then as we turn to the left, we can see why all of this aesthetic is included. Look at this room. I am at a loss for words to describe how good this waterfall looks. I mean, first of all, there's actual running water, which on its own is so impressive. The way that they've clipped different fountains into the wall, but you can't even tell. The use of mirrors on their side to look as though there is water there on the ground is absolutely fantastic. I love the detail work of the stone all the way up, the way that these different vine items sort of grow together as though it's one longer growth that goes all the way down, but they're actually a bunch of separate items that have been merged. If we can bear to peel our eyes away from this amazing waterfall for just a moment, we can see this Pandaren stove item on its side to create an archway for the door into this back sort of ritual area. The purple trees and crystal around the back here create this sort of ominous type vibe in a way, as though there's something more than just decoration going on, if you know what I mean. Rattle has helpfully gone onto the table and died to show us that this is something a little bit more than just a table. It kind of gives the vibe that there are sacrifices or rituals or some sort of magic happening in this back room. It really is beguiling how all of these different items combine to create such a knockout aesthetic for the whole area. But of course, we've got to look at this again. I mean, it's absolutely irresistible. It's bewitching the way that this waterfall is able to so effectively integrate itself into the side areas that it looks as though this entire house was built around this cave area. And those of you with a sharp eye may have even noticed that at the very tippy top of the waterfall is an outhouse, which has quite the implication for the different water that is flowing down here. In fact, I want you to keep in mind how alluring this whole centerpiece is as we exit out the house, because going backwards through the home has its own kind of effect. We start out in this cave area, this overgrown with cobwebs and different rocks and different elements, and then we exit out into a fully furnished home. Remember, the toilet and the toilet paper are completely unique creations by Rattle, but the fact that all of this is the same home as that amazing, magnificent, tasty, divine, elegant,